Hello, today we're working on a Philips Respironics REMStar Pro C-Flex Plus. I received a recall notice that these units have in them some kind of sound deadening filter that is releasing material into the breathing air. Philips says they don't know when they're going to have a replacement available. And I saw a video where somebody had cut it apart and removed this stuff out of the inside. So we're going to take this one apart and see if we can find this foam and remove it. The very first thing is to remove the humidification section, and is done by pulling this latch and rolling this whole assembly to the side. And it takes two hands, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it. There we go. Here you see it's separated. So we'll set this unit aside for now. The next step is take out your memory chip. You're going to tweezer fingers to pull this out. Next, you'll need to pry the knob off. Next, you'll take your Torx bit and remove these screws. It looks like there are two. So here are the two screws removed. When you lift the cover off, this piece here falls out. And here's the circuit board. We're going to unplug these three connectors. This top connector required a screwdriver be pried in between this black body and the white thing. If you pry against this, you'll break the lens. And then these two came off pretty easily. So now the circuit board is out of the way. So this is the blower housing. We're going to take all of these screws out that hold this blower assembly. All 7 screws are out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This particular side does not come out independently of this body because this tube is inserted into this plastic clear housing. There's 2 tabs, one tab here and one tab here, and then another tab here and another tab here. I've added a couple of props to hold these open. Once these 2 tabs are out of the way, you grab this entire piece and it lifts off. This grommet that the wires goes through has to be released, pushed in, and then it lifts over the wire. Grommet's released. Now the cover comes off. So here's what's next. Lift this piece off. Set it to the side. Release these 2 clips to get that out. Well, it takes 4 hands. I've got the props on this side. Now these sides have clipped again, so I'm going to have to fiddle and pry these out with some more screwdrivers. 2 more screwdrivers, a couple of props. Now this thing should lift out of here. It takes 2 hands though. Okay, lifting it out the rest of the way. Setting it to the side, turning it over. And there is the foam. This is the air inlet on the back side with my foam filter and media. But this is the culprit. Lifting this thing out, the edges are dusty, which tells me that air is getting around the housing or through that filter. So we can't just take it out. We're going to have to put something else in its place. So we're going to use this as a template to cut some other kind of material. Probably cotton cloth. Cotton's pretty safe. Okay, I'm going to use a cotton towel. It's 100% cotton. And if cotton is safe for us to be breathing through during COVID, then it should be okay for us to breathe through in this machine. It looks like 6 folds of this towel will be about the same thickness as the sponge material. As you can see, I'm using the foam piece as a guide to make pieces out of this cotton towel. Here are the first 2 layers. 6 layers are cut. I've stacked them, and the weight of the scissors is about plumb. First 2 layers have been cut. Based on the pressure line, it makes sort of a radius here. So this is really not terribly important to be following the contour. So that's just going to bunch up, and then that seal is going to be right here. Here are the first 2 layers laid in place. This flap of the second layer, I have cut the top, and now I've used the outline to cut the second one. Second layer is cut. Second layer laid in place. Third layer cut in shape. All 3 layers cut and laid inside in place. Here's that corner I was describing that the seal is going to be back a ways. But here you can see that the edge of the plastic housing has this cotton underneath of it. As a seal. Ready to put the side piece back in as this is all snapped in place. I didn't notice when it came out that this fell off, but it has a key notch in it. You see that little line? That matches up to a little notch there. Okay, this piece actually will lay in here. It's ready. This piece goes in. Apparently we didn't need to take this little blue rubber piece on here off. Looks like it's some kind of a venturi, but I don't know. Ah, here it is. This is the pressure sender. That's just a seal. When you put this board on here, these devices connect to it. When I removed the top, this piece was attached in here, what's stuck in here. But to put it on, it needs to be on this motor. So you have to kind of lift the motor up, feed it on there, and then put it in this groove. And again, it's a two-handed operation. Now that it's in place, this cover can go on. Thread the wires through this cover, including the pulling the wire brought this grommet through very easily, and now it's laid into place. All the clips are snapped. So now it's time to reinstall the 7 screws. It's always a good idea to loose start the screws and get all of them started before you torque any of them down. Much like an automotive part, you want to do them on opposite sides and then stagger your way and get all the way around that way. Route this cable here on this side, not this side, because you need it for the length to make up the connector. Route this cable on this side of these 2 posts. Push the ferrite coil into the retainer, and then they're ready to go. Then pick your circuit board up, set it in place. There's a set of snaps here, and another set right here. and then push down in this corner to make sure those pipes have stuck in that blue grommet. And there they are. Reinsert the connectors. This red and green one are pretty easy to do. They don't snap, they just slide on. This one is very difficult. It's going to take 2 hands. Maybe. No, I'm going to have to use 2 hands to push it on all the way. It's fully seated. Reinstall the other side cover. Take the bezel, align the groove with the edge of the circuit board and lay this in place. Then the cover will go on. And put it on its back, put the screws in it. Screws are down and tightened. When you remove the knob, most likely this metal piece stayed on the shaft, but you have to put that in here first, push it in, then put the knob on the shaft. It's easiest to set it in place and push. Here it's in. Now we pick it up. Okay, the knob is in. Take the humidification section. So you got the pin and the socket and the round so that all lines up. And it just sits in place and snaps in. There it is. Put your chip back in. Plug in the power cord. Now it says ready for therapy. Thanks for watching.